Hello humans, Master Dinnerflex here, bringing you a little quality content you deserve, and today I'm actually posting a video. Wow. I decided I'll post a few more videos about Yugioh while I'm on my hiatus, and I'll also be posting other videos besides Yugioh just to kind of throw it out there, have fun. But a lot of people here are for it, so I do want to make sure that they're getting something at least. And I seen that new Darklord's cards had came out, and I wanted to test them, and I'll get into the deck, and then I'll have a replay, and it's just very interesting stuff. The funny thing is, like, the best new support has nothing to do with the Darklords themselves, but we'll get into it and I'll explain everything. Yugioh, literally the best Darklord. If your reason for not playing this is it loses to Ash, then you shouldn't be playing this deck to begin with, because this deck just loses to Ash. So much so that there's no real point in trying to deck build around it. Outside of Called by the Grave, which should be in here. It did just no reason. Like, Yugioh does literally, it's the only Darklord that does everything you want it to do. If you're worried about hand traps, then you're playing the wrong deck. And then this new one, Darklord of Pleasure. Imagine having a Stratos that gave your opponent a monster. But it actually isn't that bad, because there's a lot of ways you're supposed to take back your monster in this deck. And there's a lot of combos that actually involve you giving them the monster, and I find that very funny. Originally, I was trying Owner Seal, which this shouldn't be in here, because it turns out most of those combos, you just use enchantment instead. Owner Seal or Remove Brainwashing, they don't matter. Just don't even bother with them. And if you're in a position where you can't deal with the monster you gave them, then you're either losing really hard, or you're not actively doing anything and you just won't do this to begin with. Simple as that. And then triple of this one, it's level 8 for Drayden. 2 Nastin, 1 Zerato. It's better than the new one. The new one's awful. Even though the new one has the copy effect, it's so bad. This one is level 9, which actually matters. So, yeah, this one being level 9 is important, but it also has a hand trap effect to protect your field, so that's pretty cool. Then one of the little thing, it allows you to do very specific combos to dump enchantment. Now, you might be wondering, how are you dumping enchantment consistently? And this is one of the ways, but it's actually not the main way we do it, because this card right here is crazy. It already seems good, but realistically, because fairies have such a strange toolbox, and a recent card came out, which this isn't even out yet, but a recent card coming out is going to improve this, and it's this card. So what you do is you use Diviner of the Heralds to dump this, whatever it is, and then this will summon itself by attributing the Diviner. It won't get any effect. It's just to summon itself. And then when you do that, this will trigger to summon the level 1 Valkyrie. And when the level 1 Valkyrie is special summoned, you summon the level 2 Valkyrie. And the level 2 Valkyrie, it's an ignition effect. You can send any spell or trap from your deck to your graveyard while you control the level 1. So what you do is you summon this, dump this, tribute this to summon this. This will summon this, which will summon this, and then afterwards you will dump Darklord Enchantment. And you have 3 fairy monsters on board. So then you go into this, and then you just start snowballing into some pretty cool combos. They're not like one card combos. It really depends on what your hand is. But this card actually facilitates a lot, and this being level 9 and this being level 9, a lot of combos end with VFD, and then that's degenerate. And then Drayden, yay. Allure, yay. Owner Seal should be Called by the Grave. I just forgot to take it out. That one, Monster Reborn, Rhoda for the entire archetype, including the spells and traps. Reborn, Reasoning, because it dumps, it can summon anything, but it can also dump spells and traps that your Darklords can copy, so that's pretty cool. Then one Rebellion, one Enchantment, which is actually a combo piece more than it is a disruption, so that's pretty cool. And one Sanctified Darklord, because there's no reason to play this. This should be Darklord Rebellion, thinking about it. There are actually ways to gain life in this deck now, so even the one thing this had going for it doesn't matter anymore, so that's kind of funny. Side deck, fill it with cards you put in a side deck. Yeah. And then extra deck Link Revo doesn't do... This one I make occasionally and is very good. This one is good. These cards have interactions. This I've never made yet. I've made this, never made this. I've made this a lot, sometimes. I never made these two trains. So, as you can tell from this deck, it's a fairy deck. You just summon guys, and then you look at them real intimidating because all your monsters' artworks have very edgy artwork, and it's got a very edgy storyline of angst. So you just intimidate them with that. Very simple strategy. Now we're going to get into the replay I just have one. I played like a few games with... no, not even a few games. I think it's just the one. So, as you can see, I'm doing out the combo. And that's what he set up. Yugioh's going to toss to draw. So, I think it's only one replay. And I won that only one replay I made. And I did the combo. So I was like, okay, good enough. So... I'm just doing the combo, just cycling through cards, and then eventually I get every piece I need, and then I just snowball. The only thing here is that I used pleasure to search pleasure. That should not be pleasure. That should be anything that's not pleasure or level 9. So it could be a another Superbia, and that'll just do it. That's all it really needs to be. But... this is the reason I wanted to originally play Owner Seals, but I look at my graveyard and I'm like, yeah, wait a minute, I don't need the Owner Seal. Like, almost no combo uses Owner Seal, so might as well not have it in the deck. And then, yeah, it just gets snowballed over here. And then here's what's really cool about this. Whenever you overlay these two, because the Trias, whatever... whenever it summons itself that way, it banishes itself when it leaves the field. But if you attach and detach as material, you get to keep it cycling in the grave, and its actual effect can then come up because it applies in either player's main phase, where you contribute 2 to 3 fairies. If you tribute 2, you destroy 1 card your opponent controls, and if you tribute 3, you also destroy a card and then draw 2 cards. And if you notice, once I detach, I'll have 3 fairies on board. And then this fairy negates a spell or trap because I have a fairy in hand. And this one can recycle... it can recycle Rebellion. So what I can actually do is use Rebellion, send Condemned to pop a card. Yugioh can pop another card. Mirage can negate something. VFD's doing his thing. And then if all else fails, Trias can pop another card. So that's 3 pops, 1 negation, and 1 super negation. So, yep. That's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you enjoyed me being back. We'll see how this goes. I really enjoyed making this deck, but that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Nerflax will take your soul.